Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
Good evening, and I am Noble Crosbyan, and these are the headlines of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
In the bulletin tonight, NDC parliamentary candidate-elect for Ayawaso East, Baba Jamal, granted self-recognizance bail after being charged with abetment of assault, obstruction of justice and corruption-related offences. Meanwhile, Baba Jamal has been cleared to represent the NDC in the March 3 polls.
We'll go to the Ashanti region where residents of Kumasi voiced concerns over Swame interchange redesign, warning that changes could disrupt traffic flow.
Also tonight, Transparency International urges stronger anti-corruption action after Ghana's Corruption Perception Index performance stagnates over a 5-year period.
Coming up in business news, Ghana Statistical Service urges private sector investments to combat fluctuating food insecurity to spur production and economic growth.
Much later in international news, Nigeria's Senate reversed its earlier rejection of a proposal requiring real-time electronic transmission of election results. Thank you so much for joining us. You can also log on to any of your social media platforms at TV3 Ghana and follow the bulletin there. But let's start from here.
In our first story, Ghana has once again recorded a Corruption Perception Index score of 43 out of 100, placing the country 76th out of 182 countries assessed globally in Transparency International's 2025 CPI report. But what is accounting for this stagnated score? Judith Brown has more. You details of this story shortly, where Ghana has once again recorded a Corruption Perception Index score of 43 out of 100.
The score shows that Ghana's anti-corruption efforts are yet to make significant impact as the country continues to struggle with persistent corruption, weak enforcement of laws, and fragile state institutions. Although the score represents a slight improvement from 42 in 2024, Transparency International says the change is not statistically significant under its methodology.
Over the years, we have perceived that when we pass laws and we establish institutions, that is enough to fight corruption or to indicate our commitment to fight corruption. What we lose sight of is the fact that if you don't resource the institutions, they will be dysfunctional. If the laws are not implemented, they will not be able to do anything. That is missing on us. So year in, year out, regime after regime, the laws are reviewed, the new ones are passed, institutions are set up, and then that is it.
Historically, Ghana's highest CPI score was 48 in 2014. Since then, the country experienced a steady decline, hitting 40 in 2017 before a modest recovery to 41 in 2018 and 2019. From 2020 to 2025, Ghana's score has largely stagnated at 43, raising concerns about limited progress despite repeated reform promises. Although there have been renewed transparency efforts in 2025, including actions by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Transparency International has blamed the decline in public confidence on perceived politicization of the judiciary and law enforcement, highlighted by the dismissal of the former Chief Justice.
Every year, various indices, good governance indices or anti-corruption indices are used or weighted in the calculation of the CPI. So you would find that this year Transparency International use civic space, independence of the judiciary, the integrity of public office as some of the key drivers of corruption. So all these come together to shape a perception of respondents.
The organization is calling for urgent reforms to strengthen accountability and rule of law, beginning with measures to reinforce judicial independence and fast-track the establishment of dedicated anti-corruption courts. It is also urging the adoption of full implementation of the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Plan as a framework for coordinated action against corruption. In addition, Transparency International is advocating for reforms to political party financing to improve transparency and reduce the influence of money in politics. The organization further emphasized the need to protect the civic space and media freedom, promote ethical business practices, and tighten oversight over designated non-financial businesses and professions. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Accra.
And closely linked with corruption, particularly in election season, is the concern about vote buying. Well, legal scholar Professor Kweku Asare says Ghana's biggest democratic threat is not historical debates, but the delegate system and so-called cocoa season politics. Professor Asare is calling for reforms that widen participation and reduce the power of delegates. Now, here are his recommendations on ending the practice of vote buying. A few of them you see on your screens right now. That if we want to widen the participation, this is what we need to do. In terms of citizens' participation, citizens should declare party affiliation during voter registration. One of the ways he says can end vote buying politics. For national party primaries, this is what he suggests, that registered party members vote directly for the candidates. He says this can contribute to reducing or ending vote buying politics. Condemning the inducement politics, he's also saying that parties must publicly reject cocoa season practices, and they should do this publicly. To reduce the power of delegates, he says that shift competition from delegates to the citizens so that the delegates will not have the power to demand what they do demand, particularly when election seasons are around. And for persuasion and patronage, ideas, not inducements, should win elections. These are some of the recommendations of Professor Kweku Asare. Is a law lecturer, law professor, and these are some of the suggestions he's proposing to end the concern of vote buying.
In more news tonight, the NDC parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso East constituency, Baba Jamal, has been granted a self-recognizance bail after being charged with abetment of assault, obstruction and corruption-related activities. According to his lawyer, Baba Jamal will file his nomination with the Electoral Commission tomorrow. Here's more.
My client, I think on the election day, around 3:25, he received a letter from the OSP inviting him to come and answer some issues on corruption and corruption-related issues in election. So once he had the letter, the person brought it to him and he was looking at it, reading it. So I believe one of his security aides and others realized that the gentleman was secretly recording what they were saying, what was. So I think one of them called him to delete what was. And the people were incensed because we were coming to just deliver a letter and you are now recording the person without his consent. So I think that is what also when they brought the letter, we went and they said they were investigating us for abetment, for assault on a duly authorized person from the OSP, to the set of obstruction or from performing his duties under the OSP Act, and 3, corruption and corruption-related issues. These are charges leveled that they are investigating for. He has denied that he never assaulted the gentleman. He rather called in the police, the command from Nima, to come and protect him from the angry people who were around. So he never assaulted him. If somebody has assaulted him, he hadn't seen. 2, he never obstructed him from what he has to do. And 3, the journalist asked him that there is allegation that TV is being shared from your camp. And he was not aware. So we were there. We gave them our side of the story. They wrote our statement, and eventually we finished around 1. We had to wait for some number of hours until the bail conditions from their superiors was communicated to them, and they granted us bail.
So Baba Jamal, as we speak, has been granted bail?
Yeah, he's been granted bail.
What was the condition?
Oh no, self-recognizance bail. He's a public person. He's been a minister. He's been in public office for all this while. Where is he running away to? The only little issue we had was they wanted to take his phone, and for them to do, we said, look, you can clone the phone. There's nothing on it. If you want it, right, we are ready to cooperate with you. We said,
is the phone with the OSP?
Yes, as we speak, yes, his phone is with them. We have an election to pursue. That election is once you file nomination tomorrow, then you begin. Anytime they need us, they will call us.
What's the latest too on the investigation by the NDC, the party itself?
Yes, we've appeared before the team, the investigating panel. Let me really put it that it is clear, let it be clear that what the party has put in place is to gather some evidence and substantiate some allegations that are being made. It is a fact-finding also to put all. It is not a criminal investigating because they don't have that jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, Baba Jamal has been cleared by the NDC to represent it in the Ayawaso East constituency by-election. General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete, told journalists that the result could have been annulled, but the party has no provision to do that, noting that all aspirants were cited to have engaged in the misdemeanor. And let me now bring you some key takeaways from that press conference addressed by the NDC General Secretary. According to him, the 3-member committee could not cancel the primary because the NDC constitution has no provision which allows cancellation of primaries, and that the decision to present Baba Jamal was influenced by time constraints as the party had to submit a candidate for the impending by-election. It goes further to say that the committee recommends that the president sanctions other government appointees who took part in the primary, as according to Fifi Kwete, the aspirants were cited to have engaged in the misdemeanor. The committee, which is 3, is to be expanded to 7 members to deal comprehensively with issues of inappropriate conduct during the internal elections, which happened over the weekend. So as it stands now, Baba Jamal has been cleared by the NDC to represent the party in the by-election.
Let's do some other stories tonight away from politics. The Ministry of Roads and Highways decision to review the design of the 4-tier Suami interchange has sparked mixed reactions from residents and road users who are concerned about what the changes could mean for traffic, for business and daily life in the city. Our reporter Ibrahim Abubakar, he has been engaging residents in Kumasi and he filed this report.
The Suami Interchange project, once described as a game changer for urban mobility in Kumasi, has been left in this dusty and abandoned state for several months. Originally scheduled for completion in 2024, work on the 4-tier interchange stalled due to funding challenges, bringing construction to a standstill. Today, the impact is clearly visible. Traffic congestion on this stretch has worsened. Frustrated commuters and motorists late last year staged series of protests demanding the immediate resumption of work.
The dust on this stretch is choking us and affecting our daily lives.
However, following the change in government, the Ministry of Roads and Highways indicated that there were no available funds to continue with the original scope of work. Government has now announced a review of the design, scaling it down from a 4-tier interchange while introducing an additional component, which is the construction of the Kumasi Outer Ring Road under the Big Push initiative.
It is important to note that not a single pesewa is being diverted from the original project But in addition, over 3 billion has been committed into the network just on the outer ring road alone. The Swami interchange is indeed part of the Big Push project in Kumasi, and we are committed to ensuring that the people of Kumasi get value for money.
Although officials say the outer ring road network will divert heavy traffic bound for northern Ghana away from the city center and ease congestion in Kumasi, residents remain divided in their views on the decision.
If you know you have, you want to continue the way it started, but don't change it. For that money that he have for now, and he think maybe that's what he have that he can do. No, you should hold that money and get loan and add it to complete the contract.
About at that time, now Mr. Tiagiman, up to now,
the previous government began this project, but till date, it has not seen the light of day. If the current government is prepared to redesign it and see it through to completion, we support that decision. The fourth-tier design was good, but if the current government says the available funds require a new review of the project, then so be it.
This corridor serves as a major gateway linking Kumasi to the northern parts of the country and also functions as an international transit route. The project, when completed, is expected to significantly improve urban mobility in the city and in the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And away from the Ashanti region, government's plan to rename the Kotoka International Airport, as announced last week, has sparked an intense national debate. The move follows a petition calling for the removal of Lieutenant General Emmanuel Kwesi Kotoka's name, a key figure in the 1966 coup that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah's government from the airport. But who was Kotoka and why is his legacy so divisive? TV3's Faisal Abdul Idrisu has more in this report.
Born in September 1926 in Alakle, a small fishing community now in the Angloga district of the Volta region, Lieutenant General Emmanuel Kwesi Kotoka had his early education in Alakle and middle school in Angloga before venturing into trade as a coatsmith. This is his maternal home, and it was here in Alakle that he began his basic education, but had to move to Angloga because there was no middle school at the time. After middle school, he trained as a goldsmith and plied his trade here for some time. He would later be enlisted into the Gold Coast Regiment in 1947 at the age of 20. Kotoka's influence in the army grew, rising through the ranks to become a prominent national figure. In 1963, Kotoka was awarded the Ghana Service Order following his return from a heroic UN peacekeeping mission in Congo. He frequented Alakle when he was in the military, and so that is when we got to know him better. Records at the time showed he was a very brave officer. His exploits in Congo during a peacekeeping mission leading a Ghanaian battalion distinguished him. On February 24, 1966, Kotoka became a leading figure in a coup that ousted Dr. Nkrumah's government, codenamed Operation Cold Chop, which effectively terminated Ghana's First Republic. But just a year after, he was killed in a failed counter-coup, codenamed Guitar Boy, led by Lieutenant Moses Yeboah and Lieutenant Sam Atta, who were later tried and sentenced to death by a military tribunal. General Kotoka was killed at a spot in front of the then Accra International Airport, which was renamed as the Kotoka International Airport. Back in his paternal home of Fiaho, also in the Anglo Enclave, Lieutenant General Kotoka has been immortalized.
In line with Anglo tradition,
part of his remains. After his burial in Accra, they brought the remains here and buried it. So this is his final resting place. It's a monument for the people of Yahoo, and it will let the people of Yahoo emulate his bravery. It serves as a reminder. He contributed to the development of Ghana because at that time it was one party. Had it not been his intervention, we wouldn't have been enjoying the multi-party system we are having today.
This statue here, erected on the tomb of General Ike Kotoka, serves as a stark reminder of his contributions to the development of Ghana, according to residents here in Fiaho, his paternal hometown. As to where we stand as far as the debate around the renaming of the Kotoka International Airport is concerned, I want you to share that with us. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
There's some more stories tonight, and President John Dramani Mahama will lead an emergency cabinet meeting on Wednesday, February 11, to discuss the cocoa sector's financial crisis. The meeting comes amid mounting concerns over delayed payments to cocoa farmers and broader financial operational challenges confronting Cocoa Board.
Cocoa farmers across the country have been complaining about unpaid monies owed by the Ghana Cocoa Board for cocoa beans supplied since November 2025. The Licensed Cocoa Buyers Association of Ghana, during an engagement with the media on February 5, demanded an immediate roadmap from government on new financing modules for the cocoa sector.
Since 2013, Cocoa Board has become a dumping ground for political food soldiers. The one very professional organization with top-notch technocrats with deep institutional memory has lost its shine due to the depth of knowledge available. Hitherto, only the chief executive is politically exposed, and with time, the three deputy chief executives were also political appointees.
The minority in parliament has also waded in, calling on government and Cocoa Board to immediately settle the arrears and apologize to farmers for the hardship caused. In response, Cocoa Board has announced that it has begun making payments to licensed cocoa buyers LBCs, while the board is also exploring new financing arrangements aimed at long-term stability. The Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, over the weekend on Key Point, detailed the challenges bedeviling the state agency, making it difficult to settle cocoa farmers.
So now, the LBC is giving the farmer 5,040, and you are using that 5,040 to settle a 2,600 contract signed in 23-24 but not delivered. So you have to then give the FOB, the LBC, that difference. So that is how worse the situation has become.
With unpaid cocoa farmers bearing the brunt and going through economic hardships, President Mahama has called for an emergency cabinet meeting scheduled for Wednesday, February 11, 2026. The emergency cabinet meeting is expected to focus on government interventions to address liquidity challenges in the cocoa value chain. Cocoa farmers whose produce are yet to be purchased, as well as those yet to be paid after selling their cocoa beans, will be waiting to see what the outcome of the cabinet meeting will be. Their prayer is that they are paid and their beans bought to ensure that their livelihoods are protected.
Meanwhile, President John Mahama has affirmed his resolve to ensure a strict enforcement of the Otumfuo Mediation Committee report that holds the Boku Naba Abugrago Azoka II as the rightful chief of Boku. Government says it is determined to see a fair and equitable development of the Upper East region.
The president hosted the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs at the Jubilee House, the first time since assuming the seat of governance. One of the debilitating factors that has hindered growth and development in the region is chieftaincy conflict. The president says he's determined to nip it in the bud.
So his report basically, stated what the lawful position was. And I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the Republic of Ghana. And so I cannot be sentimental in terms of implementing the law. And everybody knows what the law states, that the truly gazetted chief of Boko Boko Naba is Na Abugrago Azoka. That is what the law says. He is gazetted. And so I cannot have any sentiments in the matter and have somebody who's not gazetted come and say, I am the Boko Naba too. It is not in anybody's power to say, yes, it has taken a decision, but I don't agree with the decision. And so I also am imposing myself as a rival chief. If we do that, we would have chaos all over.
The Polugu Dam politics and its negative effects on the region, despite spending $12 million on the botched project, the president says things will be different under his administration.
So in all, to make it economically viable, it has to produce a little more than 100 megawatts to be viable. And so we're looking to break it into the two phases, to start the hydro part, and then the second stage will be to develop the canals and put in the pumps and prepare the land for irrigation.
He assured the region of seeing to the construction of the airport in Bolgatanga.
Now to the northeast region, where water crisis there is forcing senior high school students to spend valuable lesson time searching for water, disrupting their education. Correspondent Solomon Kwame Kanaluwe has more in this report.
For students in schools such as Gambaga Girls Senior High School, Wulugu Senior High School, Walewale Senior High Technical School, Nalerigo Senior High School, and Walewale Vocational Institute, the pursuit of education is being severely hampered. Our checks at the Community Water and Sanitation Agency office in Walewale has revealed that some of the schools have accumulated unpaid water bills, leading to the disconnection of water supply to the affected institutions. The resulting water scarcity has forced students to venture outside their school premises, often in nearby houses, in search of water.
It's not close, even to buy, even to pay. Jerrycan 1 city, you have to walk distance. Oh, the distance is not. It's not easy for us to get. You'll be roaming about asking people, going house to ask for water. Even you can reach some house and water will be there and they say they are not selling.
Students have lamented the stress and hardship they endure in accessing water.
We are suffering. Sometimes we can't even bath. We're just roaming around. We can't even get water to bath. Abba.
This situation calls for urgent intervention from relevant authorities to provide sustainable water solutions for the affected schools. Simon Amoakese is the Director of Education for the Northeast region.
We expect the authorities and government, DCs and other agencies to support us with water issues in the senior schools. Without water, nothing can be done. Without water, we can't get students' meals prepared. They cannot bath and go to classes. So it's also affecting us. Because of this crisis, some of the students are found in the night, odd hours, with buckets, searching for water.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where the New Drabin South Municipal Police Command have arrested 13 suspected Nigerian commercial sex workers and 2 accomplices allegedly facilitating the operation in human trafficking. The suspects between the ages of 15 and 35 are currently in police custody.
According to the police, the activities of the suspect contravene sections 273, 274 and 277 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, which prohibit prostitution, human trafficking and related offences. The Municipal Crime Officer ASP Augustine Kwesi warned landlords and property owners against allowing their premises to be used as hotels.
And we are sending this caution to landlords, landladies who are giving their rooms, their houses for such activity, especially in Koforibia, for such an act. That person should be ready. We are coming all out for you.
New Drabin South Municipal Police Commander Superintendent Ransford Insia explained the circumstances leading to the arrest.
Sunday, we received a complaint from another Nigerian lady that she has been assaulted by her mistress, or we normally call them queen mothers. she was given an assignment, a target of making sales of 400 Ghana cedis a day. As a result, the Queen Mother and the boyfriend assaulted the lady. While they were arrested, we found that another man has also constructed a house and he has turned it into brothel.
He reaffirmed the Ghana Police Service commitment to combating human trafficking and related offences. Superintendent Ransford Insia urged the public to report any suspected cases of human trafficking, child abuse, and commercial sex exploitation to the nearest police station.
News 360 returns with more stories, including business and sports. After this, stay with us.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has two of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced? Well, I am. Just look at you. Pepsodent smells.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Pepsodent.
Concentrated perfume.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. The Ghana Statistical Service is calling on private investors to use data from its latest food insecurity report to strategically target high-need regions. Government statistician emphasized that directing capital towards the most affected areas will not only alleviate hunger, but also spur localized production and broader economic growth. Dr. Alhassan Idrisu noted the situation poses a threat to Ghana's development.
The call for private sector intervention follows a period of significant volatility in national food security. According to the Ghana Statistical Service report, food insecurity in Ghana has seen notable fluctuations over the past year. Between Q1 of 2022 and Q3 of 2025, the number of food insecure persons declined from about 16 million to 12.5 million, a reduction of nearly 22%. The prevalence of food insecurity reached its lowest level in Q1 of 2024 at 35.3%, but rose steadily to a peak of 41.1% in Q2 of 2025 before easing slightly to 38.1% in Q3 of 2025. Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu notes that this pattern highlights both progress and continued exposure to seasonal, price and economic shocks.
But for civil society and private sector, we are calling on them to use the evidence that we have to actually target interventions and investment towards the most affected regions and the population groups, and also support livelihood diversification, food value chains, and affordable nutrition, particularly for vulnerable households.
The national food insecurity trend has the potential to feed in the national wage negotiations.
In determining the minimum wage, a number of factors are considered, not only food insecurity. They look at least 3 factors, at least. So they look at the cost of living, which is related to inflation. They would look at the activity of workers, because we are dealing with a minimum wage of workers. And then they also look at ability to pay, some more money if the minimum wage or the wage adjustments are supposed to take place.
Addressing food insecurity is no longer just a charitable endeavor. In 2026, it has become a massive frontier for technological innovation, impact investment, and policy reform. The opportunities range from high-tech startups to grassroots community leadership.
Meanwhile, the Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku has denied reports of food insecurity in parts of the country, stressing that there's enough food buffer for emergencies. He was responding to a question posed by the Damango MP Samuel Jinapo, who quoted the Ghana Statistical Service report of some 13.4 million Ghanaians at risk of severe hunger.
The Ghana Statistical Service today is reported that food insecurity is risen from 35.3% in 2024 to 38.1% last year. And the service has actually warned that 13 million Ghanaians risk hunger this year. In the light of these alarming statistics and data put out by the Ghana Statistical Service today, what assurances can the minister give to this House in terms of dealing with the situation where 13 million Ghanaians do not slip into hunger?
I will write to Ghana Statistical Service to give us the locations of these individuals so that from our buffer we can supply them, we can give them food. If we have 13 million people in Ghana who are food insecure, we must know their locations so that we can make them food secure. Their locations, you understand? So that's why I'm saying that once we have food buffer against emergencies, just indicate to me that close to your house you have 10 people who are food insecure. Today, I will supply them food. So if you show me those pictures, the pictures never portray insecurity of food anywhere. And that is why I'm saying that it is irrelevant. You don't even point to those things.
Now, players in Ghana's aviation industry have raised concerns that new taxes and levies could push the country into the ranks of the 10th most expensive globally for passenger charges. This follows government's announcement of fresh fees at the port introduced as part of efforts to boost development in the sector. Parliament has passed the Airport Infrastructure Levy Bill, which imposes a $100 charge on international airfares and 100 cedis on domestic flights. The levy is designed to finance airport infrastructure projects, including new developments across the country. While government views it as a sustainable funding tool, aviation stakeholders warn it could drive up ticket prices and undermine Ghana's competitiveness in the regional market.
These new fees will bring the total international departure charges to $173 for one-way tickets and $243 for return, catapulting Ghana to top 10 most expensive countries globally for passenger charges. In Africa, Ghana is set to leapfrog from 9th to 3rd place, trailing only Gabon and Sierra Leone.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Airports Company Limited has defended the new charges, insisting they are critical to improving the quality of service at the nation's airports.
Cost is painful, but at the end of it all, if we see what the cost has gone and what it has done, what it has gone to and what it has done, we will be happy for it. Just like how we were very excited about the Terminal 3 edifice, which serves Ghana and has put Ghana ahead of our colleagues in the sub-region. And so this is what I can say.
These issues featured prominently at the 5th Aviation Ghana breakfast meeting held in Accra earlier today. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. Up next is sports. Reku Ampafo. Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Chum, has defended the FA's decision to appoint 5 new members to the Black Stars technical team, describing it as a move performed to gain competitive advantage over opponents ahead of the 2026 World Cup. The GFA have appointed Kimnas Berkegren and Alain Rivera as assistants, Alfonso Martinez as a video analyst, Carlos Romero as a physiotherapist, and Dwayne Piazza as a high-performance coach.
May not go down well with people, and it's interesting how this news was received from Friday up until now. It is what it is. That's what leadership is about. But at the end of the day, you know that your aim is to make things better. So the common aim of the FA is to make the Black Stars team very competitive and very resourceful, and then also try as much as possible to make it more efficient. We are going to the World Cup, which is the biggest competition in football, so you always want to put your best foot forward. The men who will get the job done will be those who will steer the affairs of the team at the technical side. You need the technical team to be in sound mind and in good mood, and you also need the right people, the people with the right expertise to do this job.
Let's do some more stories where Asante Kotoko have been at the fore of the news in the last 24 hours after the resignation of head coach Karim Zito following Sunday's MTN FA Cup round of 16 exit against Aduana FC. Prince Yao Owusu and Hamza bin Mohammed are set to take charge of the Porcupine Warriors on a temporary basis starting from Sunday's Super Clash against Heart of Oak. We have more details capturing what has been a dramatic 24 hours in this report.
Asante Kotoko have taken decisive action to fill the void left by Karim Zito ahead of their crucial clash with rivals Heart of Oak. The Porcupine Warriors have named assistant coaches Prince Yao Owusu and Hamza Obin as interim managers to steer the team through the remainder of the season. The club parted ways with Zito following a run of disappointing results, a situation worsened by their MTN FA Cup round of 16 exit to Aduana FC last Sunday. An emergency meeting by Kotoko's interim management committee immediately after the defeat led to their decision to end the partnership. Zito initially joined the club in April 2025 as technical director before stepping in as interim head coach following Prosper Nate Ogum's departure. With 6 matches left in the 2024-25 campaign, he guided Kotoko to MTN FA Cup glory and a 4th-place league finish. He also lifted the Champion of Champions trophy against Bibiani Gold Stars, raising hopes for a strong new season. However, the 2025-26 season has proved challenging, with inconsistent league performances leaving Kotoko 5th on the table, 8 points behind leaders Mediama, while the FA Cup elimination ended another realistic shot at silverware. With the Super Clash against Heart of Oak looming, Kotoko will be counting on a morale-boosting victory to revive their title push. Former midfielder Michael Lekufo remains confident the club can still challenge for the crown.
They need a fresh brain to take over. And they are also capable. And then Empire support I don't already know. Objective of the team from the beginning of the season was to win the league. We are still in contention because we still have a lot of games to go. Just that we have to start winning and then make sure when we go away we get good results. I beat me up. We never say never, and we are Kumasias and Kotoko.
He also added that Zito leaving the club is best for both parties. Owusu and Obeng now step into the spotlight with renewed belief, hoping to spark a turnaround as they prepare to lead Kotoko into one of Ghana football's biggest fixtures.
Well, we still stay in Kumasi, where Kotoko forward Albert Amoah has embraced calls of a potential Black Stars call-up, describing it as a privilege to represent the country. Amoah, who scored 12 league goals in 25 appearances last season, has already netted 3 times in 5 appearances in the ongoing campaign.
Every player will be happy to be part of the Black Stars. So I think I'm a Ghanaian, so if I will be part of the Black Stars team, I think I'll be very happy. Well, yeah, I'm also a player. I think so far as I'm Ghanaian and I'm playing, I think everyone deserves a chance. So I think if it comes that I should go and play, I'll be ready to take that task.
Or for more sports updates, you can check our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofu.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Chaco toothpaste keeps me on top of my game.
Is brought to you by GTP Lifestyled
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. I'm Esiedua Afeni. Starting off, Ghanaian rapper and music producer EL has been unveiled as the latest addition to Sony Music Publishing West Africa. The announcement was made via the company's official Instagram page, where S&P welcomed the artist, describing him as a newest member of Sony Music Publishing family. The post also highlighting EL's career achievements, including his crowning as Artist of the Year at the 2016 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, now known as the Telecel Ghana Music Awards. In a video shared by SMP, EL Bon Elom Adabla expressed gratitude and excitement over this new partnership, acknowledging the support he has received throughout his career. I'm the newest member of the Sony Music Publishing family. I'm very excited and truly grateful to everyone who has supported me over the years. I'm looking forward to putting out new music, he said. Board chairman of the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, Rex Umar, has said Ghana is not yet doing enough to support its music and creative art industry. He noted that most Ghanaian musicians cannot make a living from their work, with only a small number earning money. Ghana is still not ready to support music. About 97% of musicians here are making money, he said. Rex Umar added that while a few successful artists inspire young people to pursue music, most enter the industry out of passion, not as a sustainable business. They go into the music industry because of passion, but the business side that should support them is almost non-existent, he said. He also said he has plans to step down as GAMRO chairman due to delays in electing a new board member. I'm thinking of leaving this month, February, because the work I was appointed to do is done. We came to digitize GAMRO, and after launching it, I will step down, he added. That's it for entertainment. Up next is international news.
Tonight in this segment, Senegal has ordered the closure of student residences at a major university in Dakar on Tuesday, a day after a medical student died during clashes with police, shocking the university community. University students have been protesting against the thorny issue of stipend arrears for several years. The protest came to a head on Monday on the campus of the Sheikh Anta Diop University, a prestigious West African university with a student body in tens of thousands.
Still in international news, Nigeria's Senate on Tuesday reversed its earlier rejection of a proposal requiring real-time electronic transmission of election results. The Senate bowed to pressure from labor unions, civil society and lawyers seeking to prevent electoral fraud and manipulation. Lawmakers last week voted against mandating the immediate electronic uploading of results after counting a measure long championed by pro-reform groups as vital to reducing interference during the manual collation process. And Nigeria's elections have long been dogged by allegations of vote buying, violence and chaotic collation, with courts increasingly determining outcomes of contested races. Well, despite the adoption of biometric voter verification and online result uploading in recent election cycles, Nigeria's collation process remains largely manual and opaque, fueling persistent allegations of manipulation.
And that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for your time. Do join BG Sedo at 9 p.m. for Ghana Tonight, as well as with Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Abubakar.